Welcome to the third segment of what I'm calling the Myth-Busting series. I'm Robert Scheinfeld, and in this particular video, I want to talk about another popular success technique that's called goal setting. Now, in virtually every success system, or self-help, or personal growth, or business success, or whatever it is system, goal setting is always at the core of it, whether it's called goal setting or it's called something else. There's always you got to have a goal, you got to have a target, you got to intend to create a particular result. There's got to be a specific outcome in mind. You have to start from that and then back figure, so to speak, a strategy to be able to get yourself to that goal, achieve it, get that outcome, fulfill that agenda or intention. Now, like so many other things that I've been sharing in the Myth-Busting series, there are multiple layers to discuss about this. The first layer that we got to take an honest look at is, once again, goal setting fails more than it succeeds. If you look closely, and if you were, for example, which I have done, track 100 or 1,000 or whatever it is, people who set goals, and you track over the period of a year or whatever time frame is reasonable for the test, how many goals were set, how many were achieved, what's the percentage? It's a pitifully low percentage of goals that ultimately get achieved. That's just the reality if you look honestly. And what we don't do most of the time is look honestly. We conveniently forget the goals we didn't get. We focus on the ones that we did, and then we say, oh, goal setting works. So that's the first layer. The second layer is, where do the goals come from? I mean, where do they come from? Do we go through some very complicated due diligence process? Do we go through some very strong analytical kind of a process before we set goals? Not really. It's kind of like, here's what I'm setting a goal for in this particular area of my life or business or career, whatever it is. And it's kind of like, well, what would I like here? What might be fun? What do I think would be good for me? What do I think would really, improve my quality in my life or whatever it is? And we really pretty much just pull these goals out of the sky randomly based on our limited perspective in the moment of what we think would be cool, what we think would be good for us, what we think would be great for us. And there's no real strength, no real logic, no real power or really due diligence kind of a thought process behind it. They're very random, they're very arbitrary, just based on what we can see from our limited perspective and what we judge would be something that would be good for us. So they're kind of airy-fairy in a sense, just to take it really strong and aggressively in looking at the truth of it versus the game of it that we play so much. We pretty much just pluck these out of the sky randomly. The next layer is, we all come into this life, as I see it, and there's a lot of evidence to support this, with a specific, what I call, mission or purpose. There's something specific that you came here to do and experience. Same thing for me, same thing for everyone else. And even though there's an infinite number of options of things we could do in our lifetimes, we make choices before we come in that narrows the field of what's possible for us, not theoretically, but for this particular experience, because that's what we chose to do. It's kind of like if you go to Disney World in Orlando, Florida. There's 20 zillion rides and attractions that you could go on, far more than you could on an average visit. But you go there and you choose to go on this one, and this one. You choose to limit the possibilities from the infinite number that's available, so to speak, out of choice. And it's the same thing in our lives. But the interesting thing is, even though there's all kinds of exercises that are supposed to help you get clear on it, the average person is clueless about what their mission and purpose is. And if you have a mission and purpose that's in this box, so to speak, and you set a goal that's outside the box, it isn't going to happen. And that's one of the reasons, because it isn't really what you came down here to do. And you plucked this goal out of the sky, so to speak, thinking it would be great for you, but it's outside the box of your purpose, which means it wouldn't be. And finally, as part of all of this, and the context behind all of it, which I talked about in the Law of Attraction Mythbuster video, there is an aspect of your consciousness, of your being, whatever you want to call it, from behind the scenes that is determining what happens to you in your life and is seeing to it that you fulfill your life purpose that's in this box in the way that I'm talking about it. And it is this true creative process and this aspect of your consciousness that is creating things from behind the scenes, that's determining what happens and what doesn't happen. It isn't your thoughts. It isn't the goals that you set. It isn't the strategies that you backfigure from the goals in order to get yourself there. It's mission and purpose, this other aspect of your consciousness, and the true creative process that's behind the scenes, not in what you are perceiving, that is really driving the bus. And for this reason, and all the reasons I've shared here, this is why, once again, goal setting appears to be so successful and so effective, but isn't. And if you really want to transform the quality of your life, if you really want to change, fix, or improve as you perceive it, what's going on in every aspect of your life, you need to understand and acknowledge the truth of this, what I've been sharing with you. Align, in a sense, with this other aspect of your consciousness, the true creative process, and your mission and purpose. And when all of this is aligned, all of a sudden everything starts transforming in radical ways. And I discovered a very unique path to do that and so much more, which I call the Busting Loose work. And if you look below here, you'll see a link to my website, or you can go to robertscheinfeld.com, RobertScheinfeld.com, and get more information on how you can discover and then get into alignment with the true creative process, mission and purpose, and the true creative force that is determining everything that happens to you.